Hello everyone, welcome to today's video. Today we're reviewing Transformers Studio Series 86 Voyager Class Shockwave. Shockwave here is priced at the newer Voyager scale pricing, that being around $40 to $45, and is a pretty extensive retool of the Siege Shockwave, taking a lot of his components and just kind of smoothing and flattening those parts out. But as you can see, Shockwave here is supposed to be some sort of, from what I've heard people describe, a submarine of some sort. But we all know Shockwave's true alt mode is that of a laser gun. But he also does have some compatibility with Age of the Prime's Bruticus, which I won't be showing. I'm saying this now just to kind of get that out of the way. I don't really show off Combiner stuff anymore unless we're in the Combiners video. That's why I didn't show off Brawl's combined mode, or Blastoffs, or Blastoff and Vortex are self-explanatory. They just split in half. But, I mean, Brawl has a pretty unique transformation, actually. And Shockwave, his is very simple as well. But I just prefer showing that type of stuff off in the respective Combiners video. That's why I won't be showing off the Devastator limbs combination stuff until I get into their full combination video, into the oh so great Devastator, you know? But yeah, that being said, let's get into this alt mode some more. Bringing it much... Oh my god, I keep hitting the stand. Whoop. This, I swear. Taking a look at the alt mode though, this is very clearly just Shockwave's gun upside down. We even have the huge light at the front. Or I guess not light, but the huge clear piece of plastic. The underside, you know, you just flip it over, bam, that's it, mostly. You know, all you need to do is fold this landing gear down, plug this in here, and flip these up, bam. Gun mode, you know. You even have like a little spot here for some sights. No, obviously that's not going to work well as a sight. It's looking straight into the piping here, but, you know, it's the option. It's the thought that counts, okay? But yeah, you know. Little dumb things like that. It's neat, though. But, you know, that's obviously not the official mode. The official mode is this thing, this submarine, as some people have called it. I think this was supposed to be some sort of spaceship, though. I mean, it has a landing gear. Do submarines have landing gears? That's a dumb question. Never mind. They probably don't. They probably have stabilizers, like if they're on land. And, you know, someone tries to dock the thing on land, they have to have something to stand on. Because most submarines, I don't think, are flat at the bottom. Does it help with floating if they are? Maybe. I don't know my submarine stuff. It's not my strong suit. But, you know, it's there. But, yeah. This is Shockwave's alt mode. But there's not really much else to talk about. It's just a really long piece of plastic. It's, you know, shake test. It's solid. You know, nothing's going to come off. Oh, before we get into robot mode, this figure has some really cool, or actually really good weapon storage. That being on the underside is his gun mode, but scaled for actual figures. And it just stores right here. Surprisingly well, actually, and I like that a lot. It's cool. We're going to take that out for transformation, though. But just want to talk about that since we were here. Now, with that being said, let's go into size comparisons. Put Shockwave right there. We'll bring in 86 Deluxe Class Wheeljack first. Comparing the two figures, they look interesting together. Shockwave is just one of those figures that is just really long in alt mode. And he's really thin, too, when it comes to his alt mode, but that's just how he is. He just looks like that. Next up is Road Hauler. One of the... Shockwave is a really long Voyager class, because Road Hauler was one of, if not my longest, Voyager class figures, and now we have Shockwave here, beating him out by a good chunk, as you can see. Just really long, really large. Sounds wrong, but, you know, what you gonna do? Bring those over there. Bring in 86 Sludge for a leader class. Comparing the two together, Shockwave still has him. No, he does not have him beaten anymore. Never mind. Never mind. Looking at that, though, you know, It's a dinosaur compared to submarine, so, I mean, what do you expect? Of course, the dinosaur is going to be a good chunk bigger. And finally, since Optimus can't really fit on the stand, Commander Class Optimus compared to Voyager Class Shockwave. There you go. Shockwave's almost as long as Optimus Prime's trailer. That's quite a feat for a figure by himself. As y'all remember from the Sunstreaker video, it took two deluxes to even get close to filling that, or to fill out that trailer. And, you know, 25 plus 25 is 50, so almost a leader class figure's scale. And here's Shockwave almost beating out that scale entirely. Alrighty, I've returned. Had to help my grandpa again. He wanted me to make a cup of juice for my little cousin, so that's what we did. She wanted some Sunny D! I genuinely hate Sunny D so much. The only time you'll ever see me drink the stuff is for tonsillitis, because citrus stuff can help with that. I had dealt with tonsillitis once. Ooh, hell, that's what it was. It was hell! But, yeah. So I completely forgot what I was talking about. Size comparisons. We just got done with those. So, we're getting into transformation. So let's do that. First thing you want to do is come to the front. Pull a little bit to the sides of these parts right here. So you're able to kind of get them over, like this. Then pull this piece up and pull back. Next thing you want to do, come to the side of the submarine. Go to this cable. Just pull outward. Then flip these gray panels down. Then grab the bridge here and untab it from the chest. Next thing you want to do, untab the legs and bring them out and down right here at the shins. Then there's a tab right here and a tab right here that goes into this tab and this slot. No, this slot right here and this slot right here. And you just want to rotate and collapse it like so. Then rotate the lower thigh. Same thing for the other side. Rotate, then close over and tab. And there's the legs. Next thing you want to do, come back up here to the arms. Bring them down at both sides. Then close this piece back up. Flip this upward. And collapse the whole thing here. If we didn't take this gun out, and if we just left it here, this is as far as it would go. That looks ugly. So we do want to take this out so this bridge piece has enough space to just collapse over. And these two tabs right here and here will go into these slots right here and here. Just like so. Then come to the front, pull out, flip this head up. The two tabs right here on the sides are going to go into these slots right here and here. And you will collapse this. Then take the cable, plug it into this hole on the back. Don't push it in all the way, or at least for my copy, if I push it in all the way, I have to pull really hard on the cable. And if I pull on the cable, that risks breaking it. I'm not in the mood to try and fix rubber and plastic. Terrible things to try to fix there. I hate fixing that stuff. But there's Shockwave. And just for the sake of having this so I don't lose it, we're going to plug his gun into his hand. And, like I just said, 86 Shockwave in the physical plane. Or something. In the flesh. In his plasticky flesh. There you go. Here's Shockwave, though. He looks lovely. Back of the figure, you know, obviously we have this backpack, but if I remember correctly, that is quite show accurate. He looks nice, honestly. He's missing the thigh ratchets that he used to have, because the original Siege Shockwave was a leader class figure with a bunch of extra armor stuff. Kind of like Ultra Magnus in Siege. He had a bunch of armor and was charged at leader. That's basically what Shockwave here had, so that he had his hips ratcheted. Those are gone, so he's no longer at like a weird A stance permanently. You can actually just move his legs without having them automatically be moved somewhere else. His knees are still ratcheted though, which is a nice touch. I'm happy they had the soft ratchet there. But taking a look at the figure, you can see a lot of the sculpt work and detailing that was on the Siege figure is just gone with the 86 one. So these are smooth surfaces. And this is to make it more concise with figures like, let's grab you right here. like Thundercracker, where he is nothing but smooth surfaces. Comparing the two, yeah, that's just smooth. So yeah, that's pretty cool. So are the shoulders. Shoulders are also retooled into the smoother aesthetic. Also having that port on their shoulder removed though, which means you can combine them with a lot of the other Siege Shockwave gear, except for the shoulder attachments, because those plugged into those ports there. Those are gone on this figure, so he can't do that. The chest was also retooled, so we have this new internal detailing in here, along with this clear plastic insert. But also, this entire upper piece here is smooth. Also pretty reflective too, actually. Dang. Shockwave here uses light piping for his eye, which comes through beautifully, by the way, as the light piping comes through this one little square right here, but it comes through beautifully. Genuinely some of the best light piping I've ever seen on a figure. And I wish more figures used light piping like this, because if we had more figures with light piping like this, oh my god, light piping would have an amazing reputation. But people hate light piping because a lot of the time people's shelves don't have light on them. My shelf the 86 figures are at the top of my shelf, so they have that. And Shockwave here looks gorgeous with it. I love how this light piping looks on him. And I could not be happier with how this just looks, how it appears. It's aesthetically pleasing to the eye. And I love it. I love it. I love it so much. I'm happy with this. My camera's not focusing for some reason. There we go. Shockwave has 2 Decepticon logos, both of those being on his forearms right here and here. And obviously, as you can tell, he has 2 different hands. He has his basic fist hand right here, with the wrist swivel being a little lower than the hand, but I believe that's just how Shockwave is designed. And he also has his blaster hand, which looks weird. I don't think I've ever seen a blaster look like this in my life. But here we got one right here. It looks ridiculous, but you know, it's there. Shockwave's overall design is very accurate to the G1 appearance, though. I like Shockwave. He's one of my favorite designed Transformers. Same thing goes for Soundwave. Funnily enough, both have wave in their name. But these figures are my favorite. And I love their designs so much. I don't know what it is about a Cyclops robot with, like, no emotions, but I love it. I love this type of... I love Shockwave, is probably the better way just to say it. I love Shockwave as a character and how he looks. He is a very logical bot. He is very... not practical. You know, he goes through hard trials and stuff just to get something done. But he strikes me as the type of person where, well, he is the type of person where he's going to throw ethics out the window just to see what's going to happen. As a scientist, that's just what he's going to do. Usually scientists have that code of ethics. Shockwave is not one of them. If you guys have read the Energon Universe comics, you would be very much aware of Shockwave's thought process when it comes to ethics in the field of scientific advancement. But yeah, Shockwave will definitely kill someone just to understand what makes them tick, or what made them tick, I should say, since, you know, they're dead. But, you know, Shockwave, looking lovely as ever. But with that being said, I like him, but let's get into posing. Figure's head is on a reverse ball joint, meaning that the ball joint comes from the head into the body instead of coming out from the body into the head. So, yeah. He has a really good range for a reverse ball joint, though. They usually don't have as good of range, but he can move his head all around, look up that far, down that far, side to side. You can't really get full 360. That's just the nature of his head design and part of the backpack's hinges being back here. But you can still get the proper amount of movement you want out of this. You know, you can get him to look to the sides quite nicely. you can still get some upward and quite a bit, and a decent bit of downward from the head as well, actually. So, not much to complain about. Arm can go up this far, down this far, can go all the way around. Granted, probably not this arm, actually. This is the arm with the cable. But the other arm can move freely as well, and has the same amount of range. So their arms, Shockwave's arms can go up this far without utilizing the hinge in the chest. But if you utilize that hinge, it can go all the way up that far. Arms can also bend slightly past 90. This goes for both arms. Since Shockwave's hands don't open, you're not really losing any articulation, as both hands do still rotate, which is neat. Shockwave has a 360 waist rotation. Legs can kick back that far, forward that far, and out that far. 360 rotation at the lower thigh, 9 degrees at the knee, and my least favorite part of the figure, because it barely is even there, an ankle pivot. That's as far as it goes, which really sucks. It can go a bit the other way, but it can't really go much this way. So this is as far as you're going to get for like an A stance, you know? That's as far as it goes. Which sucks, but, you know, how he's designed. If there are upgrade kits to switch out little pieces of his feet to make the ankle pivot go further, I would love that. But, you know, what you're going to do. But with that being said, let's go into our size comparisons. So let's do that. Shockwave will be in the middle. We'll start with some non-transformer figures. So we'll bring in Endo Series Withered Freddy, because why not? We'll bring in a Bandai Model Kit Phase 2 Clone Trooper, because why not as well? And we'll bring in Bandai Ultimate Legends Monkey D. Luffy, because why not? I was messing with these 3 figures earlier and thought, hey, why don't we bring those into the review? You know, use them as references. Because, you know, not everyone's going to have a Transformer. So, yeah, that's how Shockwave looks and scales with these other figures. Snag them out of here. But now for some Transformer stuff. I got 2 blocky scales to go over. We have our Galaxy blocky scale. This is no particular figure, just some random one I made. And then Blocky's Defender scale. This is Inferno. But, yeah. You can go over there, and Inferno can go with the rest. As y'all know, I just got a baggie full of these guys. But, yeah. Now to actual full-blown Transformers. We have 86 Cup for Deluxe Class, which looks nice. Getting them on the turntable. Looks quite interesting, quite lovely. Snag them out of there. Move you to the side a bit, Shockwave. Then we'll bring in 86 Thundercracker, who is the same, or is just slightly shorter, I believe, than 86 Shockwave. They look quite nice together, though, so not much to complain about. Next up, for our leader class figures, we have 86 Grimlock and 86 Megatron. Now this is where my concern with Shockwave comes in. Shockwave feels too short compared to Megatron. Shockwave should at least be top of shoulder, if not lower face height with Megatron. If not that, at least to like the top of his chest. Shockwave is to about his midsection, which is really unfortunate. I really like Shockwave. The hell was that? Okay. I really like Shockwave. He's really fun. He's a great figure. But I feel like he could have benefited from like a hip extension, or maybe some sort of shin or thigh extension. Maybe this is where they could have tooled in the new ankle tilts. You know? Made him a little taller, gave him some better ankle pivots. As I just feel Shockwave's too short compared to Megatron here. And that blows immensely. But I can't do anything about it. I don't really think there's any good upgrade kits out there for Shockwave that don't look ridiculous. Because a lot of the Shockwave upgrade kits that are out there just make it look like he's wearing clown shoes. You know, type shit. But that's just how it is. Nothing's perfect. But if I ever find a good upgrade kit out there, you bet I'm going to buy it. I've been looking into upgrade kits for Shockwave, but all of them I've seen are just feet extensions. I have heard some people mention of a hip upgrade kit that does make him taller, which I'm trying to find, but I can't really find much about it. So, you know, that kind of blows. But that's always an option if I do get to find it. I hope it's a good price, too. But finally, for scaling, we have 86 Ultra Magnus compared to Voyager class Shockwave. And comparing the two, Shockwave is just at crotch level for Magnus. And lore-wise, I don't know how Shockwave was able to take out this absolute behemoth of a Transformer in the Energon comics. But I also don't really know the true height of Shockwave in the Energon comics either. Because I don't think we have like a proper size chart for the Energon figures. Which kind of sucks. But it's fine. You know, nothing is expected to be done immediately. So, yeah. But with that being said, that's about it I have to say for Shockwave. He's a good figure. I like him a lot. I got him for a good deal from, honestly, a really chill guy. So, yeah. I highly recommend him. But do not pay more than retail for him. He's solid, but he's not past retail solid. Which, the more I say stuff like this, the more I realize I just kind of have the same crap to say about a lot of these figures. But that's just also kind of how it is. I don't want you guys paying more than you have to for figures like these. You shouldn't have to pay more money for a toy. Because at the end of the day, these are collectibles, yes. But they're toys meant for kids, too. These are toys. You know? I've bought many Transformers for my siblings. They love them. They love Transformers just as much as I do. You know? But they're also kids, so they're bound to break them. And ooh, I keep stuttering. But in the end, I can't buy them new ones because sometimes they're just too expensive. Because Hasbro blows right now. Hasbro. That's what we're going to be calling them for a little bit. Because they're making great choices with the figures. They're making terrible choices with the finances. They're charging more money even though the tariff prices already caused stuff like this. And yet they're raising it again. Which is stupid. I hate that. I hate that. But I also can't stop it. Which I also hate. But what am I going to do? Nothing. That's what I'm going to do. So yeah. With that being said, I'll see you guys in the next video. We're going to be reviewing, if I can grab him, there we go, 86 Soundwave. After that, we'll finally start the Devastator videos, which I'm actually pretty excited to start. I love Devastator, fun figure, and I can't wait to talk about him more with you guys. But until then, see you next time, and take care. Goodbye, guys.